Hello, dear students. Welcome to Online Editor, where you can expand your dreams. This is an online platform which will provide you tutorial videos on educational videos on different topics. So today we are going to take one poem from the book of English for Standard 7th, and the title of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. So, dear students, this is the activity 2 from English book, Standard 7th. This is a poem where mind is without fears, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Let me introduce you with Rabindranath Tagore. You will see this picture of Rabindranath Tagore. He was born on 7th May 1861. Being a writer, he was also a poet, he was also an essayist and a great painter. He is well known for his fabulous composing named as Gitanjali. He won Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. He was the first non-European person to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. At a very small age of 8, he started writing his poems, essays, and stories, and he got his first book published at the age of 16. At the age of 16, when he got his first book published, he used his pen name as Bhanu Simha, which means Sun Lion, as his pen name for publishing the book. He was also known as Gurudev, Kavi Guru, and Vishwakavi. So, this is the introduction of the poet Rabindranath Tagore. Let's continue the poem. The title of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. Let's understand the exact meaning which is conveyed by the poet one by one. The first line in the poem is Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In these lines, the poet says that how his country would be in the future, that is after independence. So, dear students, this poem was published in the starting of the 20th century around 1910. You might be knowing that this time India was under the rule of Britishers and we were not free. So this poetry is not exactly a poetry, it is a prayer done by the poet, and he wishes how he wants to be his country after the country is achieving independence. So by these lines, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, he wants to say that how his country would be in the future. He says that no one in his country should live with fear in his mind at all times. Instead of fear, his countrymen should put their hands up without any fear. Put their heads up without any fear and also have confidence in themselves. So this line represents that poet wants his countrymen that every countryman should live without fear. He should not have any type of fear regarding the rule of Britishers. The problems which were arise to the Indian peoples due to the Britishers must be vanished away, and all the people living in his country should fear, overcome fear, and they should live a fearless life. They should have confidence in themselves, and they should keep their heads up. Let's go to the line number 2. Second line is where knowledge is free. By this line, the poet wants to say that knowledge should be available to all the citizens. Every institute must admit students of all races and classes. Dear students, discrimination based on races and classes were much prevalent in those days. All those people who belong to the higher community, higher class, and higher caste were given privileges, were given all the facilities, whereas as compared to the people belonging in the lower caste and lower community. So his prayer is again for those people, and he wants that all the countrymen should have proper knowledge regarding everything. Every citizen must be treated as one in terms of education. Every institute must admit every students belonging to any community or any race. They should not discriminate them on based on the class, creed, caste, community, etc. He wants knowledge to be free. Let's go to line number 3. Third line is where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. So, in this line, poet wants to say that all the various regions of India and their people should be united instead of fighting amongst themselves for supremacy. So, dear students, as you might have studied in social science, that in previous days India was not united as it is nowadays, because whole of the India was divided into different fragments, like the Pakistan is divided after independence. Bangladesh, it was also part of India. It was also divided after independence. Nepal, which is the part of India, it was again divided. Before independence, also the states of India were divided into different small states. They were having different kings. So uh, here, poet prays that his country should not be divided into different fragments by building a narrow domestic wall. uh, Domestic means related to house, and the wall is a separation built to separate two houses. So he doesn't want any domestic walls to be built up between the people of the community. As you know that after the independence, our country India is giving lot of money. They are investing lot of money in the defense, because our neighboring country Pakistan and China, they are always in a state of war with us. So we have to contribute lot of money in order to establish our defense section. So if these countries were not divided, if they were both united, we would have used this money to develop our countries, and we would have more developed as compared to the developed countries like Japan, China, America, etc. So by breaking the segments, the fragments of any country, it causes underdevelopment of that country. So here poet also is praying that our country must not be broken up into different fragments, so that our country can develop unanimously in all the sectors. So line number 4 says that where words come out from the depth of the truth. In this line, poet conveys that Indian people must fight together against a common enemy to determine their common fate. By this line, he wants to say that in spite of fighting for different causes, the Indian people must fight for the same enemy, which is corruption and all the other evil practices which are prevailed in our society. So, if we are fighting against these uh, evil practices, we can develop our countries, and we can uh, make a new India, which will be a corruption free India, evil practices free India, free from superstitious beliefs, blind beliefs, etc. So, he wants every person to fight against the common enemy and bring India as a developed country. Let's go to line number 5. Line number 5 is where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. So, by this line, the poet says that in the India of his dreams, everyone should speak truth, no one must lie for his own benefits, and one should keep trying unless he has reached the stage of self perfection. So, self perfection means perfect in his own eyes or in her own eyes. By this line, the poet wants that India should be in such a way that everyone must speak truth. No one must lie just for his own benefits, and they should keep trying unless they have reached the stage of self perfection. You know, students, nobody is perfect in this world, but we have to try to be perfect. Unless and until we are trying it unanimously, we will not reach the self perfection stage. So, poet is praying to his countrymen that they should not lie to anyone, they should speak truth, so that our country should develop and every person in our country should reach the stage of self perfection. After we will reach the stage of self perfection, we will be try to develop ourselves, and in return, if we are able to develop ourselves, the development of our country will also be possible. So here the main theme of poet is he wants his countrymen to speak truth, to walk on the correct path. they should walk on a righteous path so that they can develop. The poet doesn't want his countrymen to lie for their own benefits. Let's go to line number 6. Line number 6 is where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habits. So, by this line, the poet imagines the reason to be an unsullied stream of water through which one can progress easily and without any obstacles. On the other hand, he imagines that people must overcome their problem just as stream is found in the desert. Let's imagine a region, desert region. You can find the desert region in the Rajasthan area of our country. As you know, that desert is a symbol of pain and miseries. So in desert also there are some places where we find a small portion of water. That a particular place is known as oasis, OASIS. This is the spelling of oasis. It is a place where a small amount of uh, water is found in the form of pond, or we can also say stream. That water is coming from the underground water. So that place is like a place which gives us little bit of satisfaction when we are walking for a very long distance. We are very tired and we come across a place which is cool and where we have a small amount of water. We can drink that, we can quench our thirst, we can sit and relax for a little bit of time, and the journey which was very painful will be completed in a particular helpful manner. So that stream of water which is known as oasis gives a relaxation to a person who is on a long journey. Means what were the obstacles in his path has overcome just by seeing that oasis in a dreary desert. So here poet also wants us to feel that there will be many obstacles while we are leading our life. Many problems will arise, but we should not get fear from those problems, but we should overcome these problems and find a way to walk for the journey of our life and overcome all the problems. It means that do not get fear from the obstacle which are coming in the life. Instead of having pain from those obstacles, you must overcome it. You must try harder and harder and try to overcome that problem and lead a meaningful life. So this is the main theme of the sixth line. Let's go to line number 7, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. By this line, the poet is directly praying to God. He wants his countrymen to be led by him so that they broaden the horizon of both their thoughts and their action. So, dear students, poet conveys a direct prayer to God. As I have already told you that this particular poem is not a poem, it is a prayer which is done by the author Rabindranath Tagore, and he wants his countrymen to live a fearless life, and all the possibility depends upon the God. If we are doing any work, you might be knowing that whatever there is happening in this world, everything is possible just because of the blessings of the God. So whatever you are doing, blessings of the God is very necessary. So poet is praying to God that he must be with each and every one of the countrymen, lead them on a correct path so that they can walk righteous path and overcome their problems, get away from the obstacles which are coming in the life and lead a fearless life. He wants that the thoughts and action of their countrymen must be broadened than the horizon so that they can lead a peaceful life. So, this is a prayer done by the author for his countrymen so that his countrymen will lead a developing life. One day he wants his country, India, to be a developed country. So let's proceed. Into that haven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. This is the last line of the poem. By this line, the poet wants to say that if his countrymen were able to do so, then India would be transformed into heaven, a heaven where all its citizens would be truly free. So, dear students, the last line says that if his countrymen were able to do so, whatever prayer he has done in the previous 7 lines, if it is possible, if the countrymen are able to walk on the righteous path, they are able to speak truth, if they are able to overcome the obstacles coming in their life, and uh, pray for India, and lead a meaningful life for the development of their country, if it is exactly possible, then India would be transformed into a heaven where all its citizens would be truly free. At present, when this poem was published in 1912, uh, the India was under the rule of Britishers. All the Indian peoples were forced to work under Britishers. They were not having a peaceful life. There were a lot of problems given by Britishers. You might be knowing it. I don't want to discuss it here, but he wants his countrymen to live a truly free life where nobody will be there to rule on them. They will be their own owners, they will rule their own life, they will uh, live for themselves, for their family, and for their country. So in short, this is a prayer done by the author or the poet, I will say, and he wants his countrymen to live a free life without any obstacles in the journey of their life. He wants all their countrymen to speak truth. He wants all his countrymen to do the right things. He wants his country to be a developed countries. So this is the main theme of the poem, where the mind is without fear. Let's continue. So this is the main theme, the central idea of the poem. The central idea of the poem is in where the mind is without fear. The poet envisions means imagines the India of the future. He imagines a country, how his country India will be in the future. In this country, no man will live in fear. He doesn't want anybody of his countrymen to live in fear. Instead, they will all possess a share of knowledge or wisdom. Also, he wants every countryman to have knowledge or wisdom. They will have a strong sense of self dignity. This is a very important thing. The sense of self respect and self dignity must be developed in every countryman. No Indian will discriminate against another on the basis of caste or class, and all its various states will join hands in the fight against the Britishers. Every man will speak the truth and try to achieve self perfection. This will stop believing in their superstitions and question these with the help of reason instead. They will follow the path of God, and both their thoughts and action will be righteous. Only then will India be truly free, not just in political terms but in human terms as well. They will be independent not just in name but also in spirit. So, this is a prayer done by Rabindranath Tagore. He wants all his countrymen to develop self dignity, they should have self respect, and he wants every countryman not to be discriminated on the basis of caste or class, and he wants every countryman to join their hands against the fight towards the British. They should speak the truth and try to achieve the self perfection. They must stop believing in their superstitious and blind beliefs, and they must question to those who are believing that blind beliefs and superstitious beliefs. They should ask question why they are believing and what are the benefits they are achieving from that. And if they are not having a satisfying answer, they must stop believing the superstitions and blind beliefs. He also wants all his countrymen to follow the path of God by their thoughts also and by their action also. They should be on a righteous path. Then only his country India will be truly free, not in the political terms but also in the human terms as well. He wants that his country should be independent not in just name but also in the spirit. So this is the central idea of the poem. You must copy this in your notebooks. Let's go to summary or the conclusion. The conclusion says that where the mind is without fear is one of the best known poem of Tagore. So that is because its message can easily stand the test of time. Of course, it was inspirational for the freedom fighters in India at the time in which it was written. I have already told you that this poem was published during the time of Britishers when they were ruling India in 1912. So this was like inspiration for the freedom fighters. They gave them inspiration to fight against the Britishers. However, it has continued to move readers for a century then. The way in which it defines freedom is radical, not just freedom from the rule of another race, but the freedom of mind. Here, the poet doesn't want to Indian men to be free from Britishers. Also, he also wants that Indian men must be free from different superstitious beliefs, the blind beliefs. Their mind should be free, not only the body but the mind also. So that is the kind of freedom that every man craves, even one who is living in a supposed free state. That is why the subject matter is relatable to all the readers and it inspires them greatly as well. So this poem was a great inspiration to the freedom fighters. And after 100 years has been passed, so this was published in 1912, and we have already crossed 2012. We are living in 2020. So near about 108 years passed when this poem was published, and today also it gives a great inspiration to the readers. So that is why the subject matter, it is related to all the readers and it inspires everyone a great. So now it's time for you to take your homework. You have to read the poem and understand it fully. If you again find any problem regarding this, you can contact me. You know how to contact me. If it's a short problem, you have to put your problems in the comment section. If you are not able to uh, get away from your problems, you can contact me. I have given already my numbers in the previous videos. You can take it from there. And I also know that online videos are not able to clear your doubts because we are not in a condition to just watch the videos and get everything. So try to see it many times, because in one view you cannot find it easy for you to understand it. You have to see it twice or thrice, four times, five times. You have to see it carefully. You have to concentrate while you are seeing the video, and after that be with the book also. So each and every line you should read, then you should find the meaning, and then only you will be able to understand. So in this video I have uh, given explanation along with the summary, line by line. I have tried it to my best to clear your doubts. I have also given the central idea of the poem. I have also given the conclusion. Now the homework for you is to read the poem and understand it. Again, if you find it difficultly, you can contact me by commenting in the comment section, or you can call me also. So dear students, this comes to end of this video. All the best. See this video and try to read the poem and learn it. So all the best. During this pandemic period, I will again request you to stay in house, stay safe, and do not come out of the house unless it is very necessary. So all the best students, keep learning, stay safe.